The views expressed on this episode, as with all episodes of We Hate Your Baby Daddy, are based solely on our personal opinions and shit we heard in the streets.
The content here should not be taken as indisputable fact. This show is for entertainment purposes only, so enjoy and don't come for us.
Welcome back to another episode of We Hate Your Baby Daddy with Bree and Dee.
Hello.
And today we are going to talk about Kevin Hunter, who, if you don't know who that is Wendy Williams' ex, but it's not about Wendy, it's about Kevin Hunter. But we'll get to that as usual. We are going to get into our life updates. Dee, what's been going on?
I'm extremely stressed, and that's probably just like a reaction to everything that's going on. And no, it's not from crack, but I did so much research on Hunter Biden that now Meta thinks that I have a substance abuse issue, and they just constantly keep recommending me treatment centers and self-help books for cocaine and crack addiction, and it's really disturbing.
They're probably going to be like, are you feeling tired? Are you a coward? If not, try crack. What was that rapper's name?
Viper? How could you forget?
Yeah, Viper. Because all I think about is "You'll cowards." Because when I edit the episodes, it shows a transcript of what it thinks we're saying, and so it doesn't translate "you'll" because "you'll cowards" together doesn't make any sense. It either says "y'all" or "you all cowards," but no. Viper, the rapper, said "you'll cowards." You apostrophe LL cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with that? I can't get that out of my head.
That's so baby daddy related, because remember I was like taking the bus into the middle of the city, so like I was like smelling something really strange. I'm like, something smells like burning plastic, and I know that burning plastic smell. So I looked to the side of me, and there was a crack pipe. And like
just wait, it's just an abandoned pipe, or somebody was sitting next to it?
Abandoned. Girl, this is Philadelphia. It was abandoned crack pipe that still had crack in it, and it was 6 M&Ms just next to me on the bus. And I sent it to my baby dad, and he was like, "Damn, I'm jealous. I could use a whiff of crack." I was like, "Yeah."
Oh, a whiff of crack.
You wish you were here.
Definitely white. You put that on a postcard. Wish you were here, Philly. The city of brotherly love.
I have a funny story with him on crack if you want to know.
Oh my god, please.
Okay, so he had a really shady dealer once. He was supposed to be getting coke. It's not what he got. He got a mixture of crack and meth. And he did.
What is that even called?
It's called "Bitch, I Got Your Money."
Never in my life.
So he was like, "I'm going to be sneaky. I'm going to get a little bit high before I come home tonight." But he was supposed to pick up my food. And I think he did it before he got my chicken nuggets, and he got my chicken nuggets. But I counted them when he got home, and I'm like, "Babe, why are there 6 chicken nuggets in here when I asked for a 10-piece? What was the time span?" It's like, "I don't remember. I don't know what happened." Like,
it was the meth that increased the appetite.
We did a urinalysis, and yeah, it was just, we're like, oh my god.
Oh my god, that's stressful.
I never forgave him for that either. I was so mad.
My nuggets. So I'm sorry you're stressed. You need to go on vacation too. So I am gonna be in Mexico when this airs, so Viva la Mexico! Updates. I mean, nothing has really happened. Still, I tried not to speak to what's his name, the father of my child, because what's the point, right? Except, when she came back from his house, I noticed she had a rash, so I was like, oh, I gotta message him. So I'm like, hey, can you get her some sensitive soap because she has a rash? Well, she didn't have a rash when she was over here, so I don't know. I'm like, oh God, just get the sensitive soap. And he's like, okay, well, which brand do you use? So I sent him a picture. Where do they sell that at? I'm like, I guess Target, nigga. Like, Google it. Like, that's the last thing I said. Like, it's just so frustrating. Like, when you have somebody almost 24/7 and then the other person only has them part-time, they get to be the fun parent that only, just doesn't have to worry about the stuff. They don't have to worry about the ointment that I put on her eczema because I have that. Like, they don't have to worry about anything. So all I ask, buy the fucking soap. You had a picture of it. It's literally just like Shea Moisture, like sensitive soap for babies, 100% coconut oil. It's all on the label that I sent you. Hit up Google, see where it's at. Go to the fucking Target, get the shit. Doesn't need to be a back and forth conversation. But apparently, like, so he's been bothering me actually less, if you can believe it, because he's been seeing somebody. Yeah, I'm like, thank God. I know, look at your excited
A
face.
replacement goldfish?
Yes, an emotional support, I guess, side piece, because he got mad when I said, like, oh, so you have a girlfriend now? She's not my girlfriend. She knows this is just temporary till I get my family back. I'm like, oh, we're still on that. I said, I was like, you know what? Anyway, congratulations. Nothing to congratulate. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Like, I was like, are you gonna introduce her to the baby? No, I'm not like you. I'm not gonna introduce anybody until we're engaged. I'm like, okay, all right. Don't care. Goodbye. This is like phone conversations when he's like FaceTiming the baby. Like, we don't need to be talking about
And the
this.
baby's just sitting
Goodbye.
there
I was
like
just trying to be
clapping
nice.
her hands like,
Yeah,
hey, my parents are
Mama, oh,
talking.
daddy. Right. But anyway, I'm just so excited to go on vacation, get out of here. Um, the issue that I was dealing with last week with like work, I'm like, the light is just at the end of the tunnel. Like, people apparently don't know how to send an email, so I had to send an email on behalf of somebody. It's like, that's the easiest thing in the world to ever do, but you know what? Let me help since you can't manage that. So that's the kind of shit I'm dealing with. But look at my nails. I got like
Oh, those are
seashells on them. Wait,
pretty. You're
I don't know
ready
if
for
you
the
can see
beach.
with the light. I'm so ready. So
I agree with you on
yeah,
the job front. Like I said, like, well,
it's
you know my
just so
situation, but
tiresome.
she scheduled me for an event. I'm gonna cancel last minute just to be a bitch.
That's so ugly. Because one day, what if she actually needs you, and then you're like, you know what? Fuck you. How about that?
She needed me since she hired me, like desperately, and now all of a sudden it's just like, well, I'm going to give most of your hours to the white people, actually the white girls. So bye. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Good luck.
Good luck with that because you will not be able to get this number. I'm probably going to change my number.
Did she think you were gonna beg and be like, no, I need the hours? Like, no, fuck you, bitch.
You know that the LeBron gif I always use of him putting on his glasses and grabbing his purse and getting the fuck up out
Yeah,
of there?
get up and leave.
Yeah, that's me if
That's
anything and
you.
anybody. I swear to God.
Oh man, work bullshit. Well, anyway, we have some exciting news. So this episode is going to air on the 8th, but after Mother's Day, which is on the 12th, our episode airing on the 15th is going to be our Mother's Day special. And Dee has a message for you guys.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, because you guys didn't give us any material to work with because we had asked, like, send in stories. But, to be fair, like, I get it. Like, people are in custody battles and they don't want their family and friends, like, recognizing their voice and being, like, knowing their business. I get it. Like, you know what? Don't worry. But since we didn't get any stories, we're going to share our stories. And then we have a very special guest. One of our favorite listeners, actually, from day one of our biggest supporters, even bigger than the boyfriend of the show. Like, it's really exciting. So It's going to be a personal episode, bunch of stories about like the BS that our mother-in-laws and baby daddies' moms like have put us through. So, if you do want to contribute a story, like we like to in our intro, read stories, interview you guys, like, we don't want to we don't want to scroll through Reddit for stories in the wild, because honestly, to find the funny ones, like the one about the guy pissing in his baby mama's like litter box, like, but to find the one funny one, there's like 100 sad ones. So we'd rather not do that. So send us some stories to share on the show, or like, ask to be on the show. We'll have you on. And with that, that was the intro. Leave us a review. Click the little 5 stars. Doop, doop, doop. Share us with a friend, a family member, a baby mama in need of a laugh. And speaking of which, we were talking about TikTok in our last episode. So we are planning to do a live episode where you guys can, watch and interact with us, ask us questions while we're recording, jump on the live, be on the episode. But we need 1,000 followers. We're only halfway there. So follow us on TikTok, share our TikTok. And speaking of social media, Dee, I have to tell you something about our Twitter account. So
I'm not happy about this already.
No, it's actually not bad. It's just silly. So I realized, like, because I be on there tweeting about stuff not related to the podcast. And so I realized that, like, tweeting stuff about my life, like, oh, I'm, half Ghanaian, my mom's, like, American, like, stuff specific to me. That really upset some people on Twitter. I know, why, right?
Oh, no, you upset African Twitter?
No, not African Twitter. It's something called FBA, Foundational Black Americans.
Oh, the Ankh people?
They're like the new Hotep.
Yeah, the Ankh people, just block them. They get upset about everything.
So they have this like thing. They're like, oh, since you don't have 2 foundational Black American parents, you're not an American. I'm like, what are you gonna come to Virginia and make me wear kente cloth? Like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean foundational? Your dad's the African.
I don't know.
How much more Black can you get?
I know. So they said that you have to, in order to be Black American, both of your parents have to be like descendants from African chattel slavery, like, and it can't be like Jamaicans or Haitian. Like, it's the dumbest shit ever. Like, it was so dumb. I just was like laughing. But what I'm trying to tell you is, I updated our Twitter bio to say like this account is managed by Bree, so that you won't get like any of the backlash for all the reckless shit I be saying.
Like, I'll tweet one day and I'll be like, fuck you and your Ghanaian ass. And I'm like, I'm Ghanaian now? Oh, that's good to know.
It was just like log out and be like, no, I'm not fucking with this.
Never mind.
It was really dumb.
Yeah, it
was like the dumbest thing.
But why are they mad about you being half Ghanaian? I mean, like, I kind of get it in the aspect of like, when you're like scrolling through like Black topics or whatever, and it's kind of like the topics of African Americans, you just get that random Nigerian person from England that's like, got no culture, and it's like, who are you? Eat your beans. And
right, like, I get that. Yeah, like, mind your African business. I'll mind my American business. However, I'm Ghanaian, of course, on my dad's side, but I've never been to Ghana. He never taught us the language. Like, women are the keepers of culture, so I identify as a Black American. So you can't, somebody telling me I'm not a Black American, they call them tethers. They're like, you're tethering yourself to our Black history. And I'm like, you're high on crack, like, on my face. So that's why I put in parentheses, like, this account is managed by Bree. So like when people are interacting with me on Twitter, they're not like, and you look light skinned, so you're not even Black.
Oh, that's not gonna work, baby. Not with my credentials. I got the roll book for my ADOS, bitch. No, like literally, I can go up my family tree and pinpoint the African woman that got forced by the slave master that made me. No, you can't. You can't.
Oh,
I'm the final
no, but
boss.
even if you have, they're like, if you have any mix, even if it's native
Baby, that's
or any,
impossible
like,
in
they're
American
like, you're not
chattel
a black.
slavery.
Girl, you and I both know that. These people, I think, I'm like, they must be teens or something that
Or
are just like,
slow.
they're slow,
Do you
chronically
know,
online. Like,
like statistically, an African descendant of slavery is at least 25% other?
they have to
At
be. I
least.
mean, that's just. Like, do you know what would have had to happen so that you would have a completely pure blood? Like, you couldn't have been a slave. That just, they didn't let you have that. So
No.
everybody who's not chronically online believing like we were all kings in Egypt or something, people who don't believe that like aren't part of that. But like these people, because I looked into it after I got called a bunch of names,
Oh my
and I
God.
was like,
You
these
tap me in.
people.
I would have destroyed them.
I was just laughing. I was like, I think if I was like a teenager or something, maybe I would be offended, but I was just like, why do you care? Like, you don't even know anything about me. I'm a podcast page. It was so weird.
You know
But I just
what's
want to let you know
funny?
that.
No, like those people too. You know what's so funny about them? They're so proud of like their blackness, but they're not proud of what type of black they are. Like I'm fully proud of knowing that my blackness comes from West Africa. I'm West African. That region is where I'm from. I'm not up there from Egypt and all that BS. Like, why do they always cling to that?
Yeah, I don't know what these people's problems are. Frankly, I do not care. I mean, I responded to someone. I'm like, I don't know why you're so mad about my heritage, but it's like I still have to get up every day in my American home and pay my American mortgage and bills. So don't care. Anyway, you're black. No, I'm just kidding.
And still look at an American Confederate flag anytime you drive the town.
Girl, if you go, there's a certain place in Virginia, you start driving south. I'm not going to name names, Leesburg, but if you start driving south, there's a barn with a big old like Trump sign on it, which is to me like the equivalent of a Confederate flag. And then once you see that big barn with a Trump flag, and it still says it's still the OG one, the 2016 one, Trump Pence. Once you keep going south, it's like Confederate flags. You'll drive by trailer parks with the Confederate flag in the window, and I'm like, pick a struggle, like.
I want these people to experience real life. I want them to come to Philadelphia with me. And I'm like, okay, let's take you to the counties where there are still sundown towns. Oh, you thought that was down south? No, baby. Let's go where the bikers are.
I've seen that on the internet. I'm like, oh my God. Because, there's like, I've gone up to like Amish country because, they're all into some like heavily illegal shit that nobody knows about. Well, anywho, I drove past some scary looking places.
No, it's so scary. Like the HBCU that's in Pennsylvania, Cheney, that it's all known that if you like hang out there long enough, you will see the locals burning crosses, like in the woods. Like you'll see, what's that
They're
fire? Like what's that
scary.
fire in the distance? And you squint, and you're like, oh, those kind of look like T's. Are they trying to spell something out? T T T T T.
Time to
Oh,
leave.
those are
Time out.
crosses.
It's very scary. I was riding with my friend Jack. I was like, if we took a wrong turn, like, I'm black, you're gay, like, we're never making it out of here alive. Like, that was terrifying, bro. That's why I'm like, how is Philly so different from the rest of Pennsylvania? Because we were in Lancaster.
The black people are, I mean, we're rough up here. It's really hard to intimidate us. That's the thing. It's just
like, get your fucking teas out of here.
Yeah, like I think there was like an uprising once with the whiteys, and they just got pummeled.
An uprising of the
They're
whiteys.
like, you can't do that here. This is a white town right here. And we're like, oh, what about that? And beat them with sticks and rocks.
You cowards.
So yeah, they don't do that anymore. I mean, there used to be like things in like the 80s and stuff. Like it's funny, like Philadelphia's a very segregated city, but yeah, like we fight back with fists.
Piss and fury. So let's talk about. Let's segue.
So, Jesus, we went on a race tangent, but that was relevant. Because if I
For
log
quite
onto the
some
Twitter
time.
account, I'm gonna be like, okay, what's our Twitter stats? What's our audience? And I just see, fuck you and your eggs, you
I feel
Ghanaian bitch. I'd be like, what?
you and your hard-boiled fucking eggs. No, I feel like most of our followers, or not followers, but listeners, probably come from Twitter, because I'll tweet something and a response is only, get like 5,000 views, 10,000 views, and then I look at our stats on our thing, and it's gone up, and I'm like, this is so much better than fucking Instagram.
That's why I said they're
But
not.
anyway, I'm
That's
sorry.
why I said like Twitter and Facebook. We were talking about this in the beginning. We were talking about promotion. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are like just naturally dark-sided. There's something dark about it. There's the socialization on there is just abnormally aggressive. You could just be like, "Hey, I like your hair. What did you call me, bitch?" What?
You pig. I've literally had conversations like that on Twitter. Like, this girl, she was like, should I give this guy some money? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, I see you hate baby daddies. That's the only reason you think that. And I'm like, no, that's not what? She's like, you bitch, leave me alone. And then she blocked me.
You saw my beef on my like main Instagram. Like I was like, I did not like the Taylor Swift album. And this white lady was like, why don't you go twerk to your twerk music? And just went in on it. So it's just like,
What to my what, bitch?
she was like, this takes a certain level of intelligence to understand, and people like you would not understand. So you need to go listen to some music that you can twerk to. And I was like, oh, we going there? And I rubbed my hands. And I saw that she was from Brazil too. I was like, oh.
Ooh, okay, Nazi spawn, Nazi offspring.
No, like look real close. I'm like, you got blue eyes too. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Oof. Oh man, the jokes write themselves. But okay, I'm sorry. Segue. Do your
We have
segue.
beef. That's
You have a good
hilarious.
segue.
So the good segue is Kevin Hunter's a bitch. Let's get into it. So Kevin, he's a sketchy, unknowable ass nigga. Like nobody knows where this man came from except he's from Ontario, Canada. Which you already know he's kinda like gonna be bad. Like every time we see like where these men sprout from, you're like, oh, he's gonna be awful. Cause like why is Canada always shipping us their worst black men they can even think of? They ship us their demons.
Right, because
Enough.
I'm like, we did
Keep them
Drake.
over there.
We talked about Tristan Thompson. All Canadians. I'm like, they're not sending us their best, as Trump would say.
All right, back to
Guys,
Kevin.
I'm sorry.
He was born allegedly on September 17th, 1972. No confirmed sources.
Wait,
The only thing we know
it's alleged because he. Wait, why is it alleged?
because with some people you can have like a state ID, you can find them like celebrities or something, a state ID, a comp card, birth certificate. Like they're just guessing at this point. From the age that he said, and when he celebrates his birthday on Instagram, that's how we guessed his age. There's
He
no
is some
confirmed
kind of
sources.
loser. I'm sorry, but all right, my bad.
So I'm like, you're like allegedly. I'm like, because it's not confirmed. He could be lying about that too. So the only thing that we know about his early life is that he was raised by a single mom in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and then he attended high school once he moved to Long Island. So friends and family said that he was always ambitious and he wanted success, aka he was a money-grubbing male whore. And he said he was mesmerized by celebrities and the entertainment industry, which just sounds like a rent boy, because like, who does that? Who cares? So before he married the queen
It's
of
giving.
radio,
Sorry, it's giving Kevin Federline vibes. It's
you're like, I want to be famous by all
right at
means
all costs.
necessary.
Because Kevin Federline, he started out dancing, then he had a rap career after he was with Britney. A rap career. So it's like people from Canada, people named Kevin, sketchy.
I hate them. So before he married the queen of radio, he owned a hair salon named Headhunters. and Boca Raton. Just like so suspicious. Like, why?
I mean, headhunters. That sounds a little brothel-y. And I think that there are like hair salons and barbershops that are low key like brothels. Like that is a thing. If somebody told me there was a like hair salon to brothel pipeline, I'd be like, that makes sense. And
That's some
especially in Boca
Sweeney
Raton.
Todd shit. Like some 18th century, come for a shave, leave with some wet. Yeah.
Ew. So, Kevin Hunter, his life basically is just pre-Wendy and post-Wendy. Like, that's why he doesn't even have a confirmed birthday. Like, he's just there. So, in typical broke nigga fashion, he was a party promoter in the 90s. And with all of the cool and fresh hip hoppers coming to his parties, so like Jay-Z, the Wu-Tang Clan, and Foxy Brown, they, showed up at his parties. So good for him. And he met Wendy Williams in 1994 at a skating rink. Deep put Canadian ass motherfuckers always skating around eating maple syrup and shit. That's all they do up there. No offense. I know we have like a not small percentage of Canadian listeners, so I should
Still listen to
apologize
this, like,
now.
what the fuck did we do? What you say fuck us for?
Why am I in it? So on November 30th, 1999, he married Wendy and he became both her husband and agent, which I don't know if you've seen that gif of that steak with the pearls and the purse walking out. This is big mistake. Big mistake. You never make a party promoter, let alone like a romantic partner, your agent. Like, it's very self-serving move. But so, despite having no entertainment, television, or production experience, besides hosting his pussy popping parties that your uncle and auntie with the gold side tooth remember from back in the 90s, despite hosting those parties, he didn't have like any experience in the industry, but he went ahead and just was like, hey, well, I'm going to be your agent. Awful. It's already just awful. But so anyway, Wendy unfortunately suffered 2 miscarriages before she finally conceived Kevin Hunter Jr. in 2000. So she has always had severe like health issues, and all of them were exacerbated by psychological stress. So at the time, Kevin made sure to make sure that Wendy was comfortable, healthy, and happy by cheating on her as much as he could, like as much as humanly possible, with anything that moved and never using protection. So, terrible, shitty husband that was just making her psychological stress worse. And so he was a prolific cheater. He cheated when they were boyfriend and girlfriend, when they were husband and wife. And also, what hurt Wendy the most was that he cheated on her while she was on the 9-month bed rest required in order to not miscarry their son, Kevin Jr. And, that's a little bit relatable for me because it's not that I got like physically cheated on, but my baby daddy was like, right after I gave birth, which, when you're right postpartum, is when I discovered that he was sexting someone. And like, oh God, it's just such a brutal feeling. It's like your most vulnerable moment, like when you're pregnant right after you give birth. And so to have somebody just disrespecting your trust like that, I mean, that's just nasty and vile. So it's like just insanely selfish and mean-spirited of him. And it was basically done out of pure spite, like just like an intentionally evil thing to do, to put stress on a woman during her pregnancy that puts both her and the baby at risk. And the fact that he wasn't using protection, I mean, he could have brought anything home. He didn't care. So additionally, while Wendy was in a very fragile mind space, like in the postpartum period, and Junior was not even 1 month old yet, Kevin would literally go in a room directly next to her to have phone sex with his mistress in the room next to her. And yes, Wendy heard it. But I mean, Kevin, like most men, just didn't give a fuck. It's like, oh, you had my baby, you're trapped. I can do what I want, basically. And, maybe he did care and he got off on it, like got off on the suffering, like some men do. From, what we know about Kevin Hunter, we're inclined to believe that he was just getting off on it and having, Wendy next door suffering and hearing that probably was like exciting for him. So Kevin's infidelity finally ended his marriage with Wendy in 2019 when he had a child by his long-term mistress, who we'll talk about in a few. But yeah, so he had a baby on Wendy, and she finally it became public, and Wendy, she had a reputation to protect, and so she finally was just like, you know what, fuck you, I'm done. So let's get into how Kevin and Wendy ran the Wendy Williams show.
So this is some like quiet behind the set shit. This is scary. So in 2008, Wendy Williams show employee Nicole Spence, who worked as a publicist, filed a lawsuit like a publicist. Why were you hurting her? She was minding her business. She filed a lawsuit against Kevin and Wendy, but mostly Kevin though, because like he was like gunning for her for sexual harassment in a hostile work environment. She said she saw Kevin regularly put his hands on Wendy, and there was just weird shit going on that she was like, I don't need to be exposed to this. Like, why am I being involved? So let's go through all the weird shit in the lawsuit that definitely happened because they settled on court immediately was served to them. So in one instance that other employees will absolutely say was true, Kevin asked everyone to leave the room, but didn't wait until everybody cleared out. They were scared, so they were kind of like frozen, and proceeded to grab Wendy by her throat, choking her. Then he slammed her against the wall and he used his other hand to punch violently above her head over and over, like as hard as he could. And what prompted the attack was he caught Wendy having a cigarette in the parking lot. That's what happened. That's what incurred that rage. Okay. So, Miss Spence, she said when she rejected his advances, that didn't stop them, as most men would. It just turned them into sexual threats. So when it turned into, I want to have sex with you, she'd be like, no, thanks. And then he'd be like, well, then I'm going to have sex with you. And I know where you live because I'm your employer.
That's fucking disturbing as shit, dude.
It happens way more often than I think a lot of guys like to admit. They'd be like, well, what were you wearing when you went to work as a publicist? Like, what the fuck? So, yeah. He would also regularly just go around calling women bitches, but only certain types of women that were on set. Can you guess which type of women, Brie?
Black women.
Of course. Yeah, anybody that was lighter than a paper bag, they didn't get that treatment. They just got, pushed out the way. He kept his targets to who he could target and could not be called out on.
That's disgusting. And we see that with like in our Diddy episodes where he would like release their nudes and abuse them worse because he knew society doesn't value Black women in the way that they value other races of women. So he knows he can get away with it because somebody goes to police, the police look at you like, okay, what do you want me to do? That's how they treat Black women. So
I mean, I know a lot of our listeners probably like true crime, but anybody knows that like the most prolific like serial killer of women, he specifically targeted Black women because he knew that if any of their families or friends went to the police, nobody would investigate. He'd be like, okay, it was a Black woman. We're not investigating that. So what? And they were like, he would draw portraits of these women. And there was like, 300 portraits? They still can't find these women because at the time, if you told them that you went missing, they were like, whatever. And that's actually coming up now, too, with that white guy that just murdered that 19-year-old. They're finding body parts all over the place. And they're like, we told you about this guy. He has a sex dungeon. And when people go in, they don't come out. And he was like, yeah, I like black girls, but I don't like black girls because I like black girls. I like black girls because they're very easy to victimize. Nobody goes looking for them.
Yeah, like I listened to this podcast called Black Girl Gone. And I mean, it's sad that you can have like a podcast. I mean, that show's been going on for years, just talking about like women of color who have been victimized that just go missing, and they had, you know, like families and loved ones, and people just time and time again in each episode it's like, and they went to the police and the police were like, well, maybe she ran off with a boyfriend. They're like, she wasn't like that, she didn't have a boyfriend. And they're like, well, we don't care anyway. Like it's so fucking tiring.
Yeah, it's just they're just like, oh, that sounds like that sucks. It sounds like that sucks. Anyway,
Sounds like it's your
like
problem.
my well, yeah. So like I have a special hate in my heart for men that specifically target black women. All women, but black women because we do not get the justice that we deserve ever.
Ever.
So in this lawsuit also, he also demanded interns to wear bikinis and serve drinks to himself and Wendy behind closed doors. And he also asked her to do this. And she was like, well, I'm scared to be in a bikini. So she got out of this, but she also had to work with other girls that she was hired with that were like, yeah, we had to serve them in bikinis. And it was really scary. Um, he knew her number, of course, because he hired her. And he called her all night and at all times of the night, talking about how he would force himself on her. Not that he wanted to have sex with her, but he was going to. Like, there was no choice in this. He's coming to get you.
Can
And
you
in one
imagine how scary that is? Like, just as an example, the whole situation with like Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, like just okay, so if you've ever been an intern or like a junior employee, like having a boss above you, I mean, you've never worked before. That's why they target interns and like junior employees. And that's why Bill Clinton like targeted Monica Lewinsky, and it's why Kevin Hunter targeted Nicole Spence, because it's like, well, you know, the things that they went along with, like wearing a bikini and stuff. Like, I'm 34 years old. Somebody tells me to put on a bikini. I'm like, bitch, you put on a bikini so you can wear it in jail when I call the fucking cops. You know what I mean? But like a brand new intern, they don't know any better. They're like, oh, well, I work in television. Maybe this is normal. Like, maybe if I just deal with this, I'll get an opportunity. That's why you see, like, if you watch that Nickelodeon documentary, like the stuff that those people went through, having to give massages to that big fat Nickelodeon guy. It's why they target those people. So, like, if you're young and you're listening to this, you know, just keep in mind, like, you know, if something feels off, like in your mind, you know, even if it means like, oh, I'm gonna have to be out of work or maybe it'll stall my career, like it's better to have that happen than to deal with the trauma of some boss saying like, oh, it's normal, all the interns wear bikinis. Like it's not. It's sexual harassment and it's wrong.
the worst thing about that is like when there's a person like that around, I call these people like accessories to evil, but there's people that fall in line with it. They're like, well, that's fine that he does that. That's a normal thing for him to do. When they know morally that it isn't correct. Like, you know, like, especially a person that's like around their age, they know that that person's a fucking weirdo, but they let them get away with it. And I think that person's almost worse than the person that's doing it. Like, the person that's doing it
Right. Like
is probably like a
especially
psychopath or
somebody
something.
who yeah, like especially someone who's been a victim of abuse, like growing up or something, and they're just automatically at that point kind of conditioned to be like, well, okay, this is just how all men are, it's all the men in my life, so it's whatever. And so a new intern joins, and they're like, well, this is what we do, this is normal. Why are you tripping? And I'm pretty sure Nicole Spence even said that there was a point where Wendy was like, well, you know, I'll take you shopping for some sexy outfits. Like, you just got to dress sexy for Kevin. And she was like, no, I'm not doing that. Because Wendy at this point had been so conditioned to be like, you know, trying to please Kevin that she put the interns through that. And that's really fucked up.
I think that's the problem with Wendy. I think that her problem was like a lot of women, they want to be picked so bad that like everything goes out the window, even if it victimizes another person. It doesn't even matter if it's their kid. Like, I got picked I got a man. I'm in a relationship. I got a ring. And it's like, at what cost? Who suffered for that diamond? That's a blood
Right.
diamond.
And Wendy specifically is the type of person where, she's not, or I guess she wasn't really conventionally attractive. She was very tall. Growing up, she struggled with her weight. And so for
Yeah.
her, having a man, any man, was like, well, finally, somebody chooses me. And I don't think she had that much relationship experience. And so for Kevin, he was able to manipulate and abuse her to the point where he was literally like fucking other bitches, and she just knew about it and just dealt with it for all those years. And so this like whole thing just kind of shows how she was about it.
It's scary. It's scary how that type of person can have that type of influence and power. And they're not nothing. Like, this dude had no credentials. Like, how
Yeah, he
did
was a
you get
fucking
here?
party promoter. Like,
How are you an executive producer? Why are you here? Why do you have a do-rag on? Security.
like me, I have like a business degree, but it's like useless when like people like Kevin Hunter can just walk in his do rag and a Burberry 2-piece. Like, yeah, I'm a manager. I know business. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you really have to have connections and be connected to make it. It's so gross.
Okay, this is like the weirdest and strangest part of the. He was like, "You got a big butt," and then immediately ended with, "Bitch, what? Why would you do that?" And it's just so weird because remember in our group chat, they like I'm okay. I take pictures from the waist up for a reason. I don't like to be harassed. So
You're part
like,
of
remember I
the big
showed
booty light skin brigade.
I am, but I don't like to show it that much. And they're like, your ass isn't that big. And then I think who was it? Like one of the people they saw me in person, like, oh Jesus, yeah, it is. And they were like, oh, you can make bank off that. I'm like, no. Do you realize how guys are when you have a big butt? And it was just like a stick drawing I did. He was like, good morning, big booty, you bitch. And I'm like, what? And I'm like,
Oh
that's
my
universal
god.
experience. I'm like, that's
Bro, when I
experience.
was growing up, one of my friends, when we would walk into a store, like leaving a parking lot, we would have to all like flank her and stand behind her because I mean she has a big butt. Like it's big. People would call her Big Booty Deborah. And so, she didn't want to get cackled. Like it's not funny, but it's funny. Like she'll be scared, so we'd have to make sure nobody could see it. Cause otherwise they'll be hollering. Like it was terrifying.
That's my trauma. Okay, this isn't funny, but it's funny. And like sophomore year of high school, my friend group was two Egyptian girls and two Filipino girls and one Dominican girl. And they stopped hanging out with me because they're like, you keep bringing black guys around that keep screaming about your butt. I'm like, what? They're like, mm-mm. My mom saw
We
that and
can't
they don't.
control it.
I'm like, I'm sorry. I lost weight that year too, but it just emphasized. I'm like, yeah.
Made my back way smaller, made the booty look bigger.
I was like cursing some African guy, like, what?
No, growing up, I had big boobs, and so people, like literally, people would say, "Oh, if you and Big Booty Deborah, if we could combine your bodies, we'd be the perfect woman." And we're like, "Why are you telling us this? Like, we're young women. Leave us alone."
That's the worst thing too. Like with like the emphasis of this is like workplace culture and stuff. I could put on any type of clothing. The silhouette is still going to be. I could put on a burlap sack. That thing is going to poke out, and your boobs. I've seen your boobs. No matter what you put on, I'm like, you got big boobies.
Honestly, I could be wearing a turtleneck. It's still poking, and what can you do? Like, I can, you can try to bind them, but they're just gonna be smushed and big. So
Your professional pics when you were in office, you were posing all cute. It's like, yes, boobies. Thank you. I'm here to do
huge.
business.
You know that meme on TikTok that's like the office siren? And I'm like, I was unintentionally the office siren because anything I wear, I just got that shape, you know? What can you do?
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry for everybody that went to high school with me and I bumped your desk or bumped you when I got up to hand in a test. I ain't
No,
mean to do
literally,
it.
I hate whispering to people because it's like you lean in close, your boobs are on their shoulder, and they're like, what is happening? Am I being attacked? Should I call the police? It instantly becomes sexual.
It's so weird. It's not even like sexual harassment. It's just body bullying. Cause like I remember this one girl in high
Right.
school. I was wearing like I don't know, just skinny jeans. It was the fashion at the time. Like Grandpa Simpson used to say. It was the style at the time. I was wearing skinny
19
jeans.
Dickety 2.
Yeah, she was like walking by. She was like, "You have no business wearing that in public." I was like,
God damn. Oh my God, not no business. Holy shit. She was sitting on
"So
that.
we feel you, Miss Spence.
Oh my God.
Voluptuous women, we feel that we can't control it."
Oh man. So
That's
what
me.
we're trying to say is we get it. We get it. We get what it's like to be sexually harassed just because of how you look. Like you're not trying to be sexy. You're just like wearing a sweatsuit. People are like, I still see it, bitch.
Imagine just like do, hey, big booty, and she just turns around like, Mr. Hunter. Shh.
He whispers through his teeth.
Adjusts his do
Oh
rag.
man. Oh
But
hell
yeah.
no.
So like all this is happening, and like Wendy can't even deny it because Wendy has said on the record that her husband is a thug with a nasty temper. Like, what the fuck is in the maple syrup? Like, why are they so
Thug
nasty?
juice.
Is that
It's
what
full
maple
of
syrup
thug
is?
juice. Yeah, it's just comes out of the trees. Even the white guys in Canada, they drink it and turn into thugs.
I met white guys from Canada. They're wild. I don't. That border's there for a reason, and it's not to protect them. That's for sure.
To keep
They
them
act like we're the
in.
problem. So apparently, in the lawsuit, Wendy was also said to harass male employees, and I find that so funny because after this lawsuit was dropped, only gay men were allowed around her. If you peep that,
Oh my God, that explains so much.
yeah, no
Wow.
straight men around her after that. If you noticed.
Damn.
So, Wendy was also said to harass her male employees, and many said the only way to keep their jobs was to keep her sexually satisfied. And one
Yikes.
man begged Spence because he knew that she was filing this lawsuit. He did not want his name out there. He did not want to get beat up by Kevin because, yeah, he begged her to say that Wendy would call him at night just so he would listen to her schluck her clam.
Ugh. You know what? I'm changing my my Instagram handle
No,
for people
I'm
who know what
sorry.
it
That's
is.
an oyster. Wait, sorry.
For people who know what it is, I'm changing my Instagram
cut
handle
that
after
out.
that.
That's two different shellfish.
But you know, they're both known for the same thing. That's gross.
Oh
Come
yeah.
on. What is it with the sexual harassment, man? It's like you give some people power and the first thing they do is like, you know what? Like Hunter Biden, the first thing, I'm gonna smoke some crack. With these people, I'm just gonna sexually harass anybody who comes across my path.
Well, you know what? Hunter Biden was a dick, but I'm going to say one thing good about Hunter Biden. He paid for his escape. Nobody was forced.
Yo, he did. He was like, I'm gonna become a millionaire someday so I can get the finest and best access to crack cocaine that I can get in this world. He's like, he probably pushed his dad to become president so he can be like, Daddy. Watch, this is turning into Hunter Biden part 2. Let me stop. Let me stop. He got his episode.
No, I'm giving the man his flowers. That man smoked crack.
Wait, I can't
He
hear
was with a
you.
lot. Can you hear me now?
Wait, say
Hello?
something?
Hello?
Oh, hold on a second. This is my fault. Wait, say
Oh,
something?
you unplugged yourself.
Okay.
Hmm?
Sorry. Go on. Go on.
Hello? No, I
I
said
can
one
wait.
thing about Hunter Biden. He liked his crack and he liked his hookers, but he never forced that crack or himself on anybody. There's no complaints about that. He paid his way. He spent almost $1 million. So yeah, nobody
Mhm.
was forced. He paid well. Well,
Bars in hell.
speaking of $1 million, that's what Miss Spence wanted from having to witness all this and more, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. And as you said, what's the Donald Trump quote, Bree?
If
They
you settle,
settled.
it means you're guilty. Let me just give Stormy her money. But so what? I'm president, bitch. Like,
And Wendy Williams said, after settling, believe what you want. I stand by my guy. I can't even do her voice. It's like she
it's
talks like
really
a
hard to
parakeet.
do. I stand by my guy.
Fuck
She's
New
from
Jersey.
Jersey.
She
Yeah,
she
right?
should have finished you all.
Damn.
I hate New
So,
Jersey.
I can't lie. I'm also not a fan of New Jersey. Sorry for our Garden State listeners. It's just not my favorite place. But she was like, a tough old broad from Jersey, New York, and they just have a certain way about them. So we'll just leave it
I'm gonna add on to that. When my baby dad, he was like, "I'm moving to New Jersey." I'm like, "It's supposed to make me jealous."
at that. Have fun,
Good luck.
bitch.
You're gonna get cancer.
Oh, I should not have laughed at that. Sorry. It's so specific. Oh my god, I can't breathe. Okay.
I'm sorry. The first time I ever heard about real estate in New Jersey or renting from New Jersey, God bless her, I love this woman, was my Ukrainian chemistry teacher in high school who had to get a tumor removed because she's like, when I came from the old country, I moved to New Jersey, and apparently they build my house on top of radioactive material.
That's what they do
And I
over
was,
there.
and I was like, oh my God, Miss Slevlevsky, are you serious? And she was like, yeah. Then I looked it up, and apparently New Jersey's like a radioactive wasteland. That's probably why that's probably why he's dying right now. What is it, radon over there?
I think okay, so you know how 3 Mile Island is near y'all, but the smoke billows into Jersey
I'm
and their
looking it
waste
up.
goes into Jersey.
I'm literally looking it up now. They
What?
said radioactive contamination is found in New Jersey water. Bureau
From 3 Mile Island.
Bureau of Environmental Radiation, NewJersey.gov. I don't think we had that in PA.
Verified, bitch. That
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
shit we
so
heard in the streets. That's real.
it's literally in their ground. It's radium and uranium. So you can't
Oh
build in
my
Jersey.
goodness.
Enjoy your
That's like real
cancer.
life Fallout. Did you watch Fallout yet?
I loved it. I played all the
Oh,
games.
it was so good. Me too. I loved how the town of Philly, and they kept saying, "Oh, Philly, that's a dangerous place." I was like, "Ah, Diddy."
It's actually so funny. I think in Fallout, what is it, 3, they reference Pittsburgh, which is Philly's ugly sister, and they don't call it Pittsburgh anymore. They call it the Pit, and every single person is
Right.
just like a mutated animal. And I'm like, yeah,
That's the
Pittsburgh didn't
pit, all
change
right.
much. Pittsburgh didn't change much.
Oh man. So let's talk about Kevin's mistress. Kevin Hunter's long-time affair partner, Sharina Hudson. She was made known to the public in 2019, which is the same year that Wendy left him, because she gave birth to their love child named Journey in Philadelphia. Represent
Philadelphia mention, John, cheesesteak, pretzel. Don't get shot.
No. So nobody in New York would report on it because it didn't happen there. It happened in Philly. Like, you know that saying that's like, mind your non-Philly business or whatever. Like that's what the rest of the world does. Like we let you guys do your thing up there.
Nobody would have cared. They'd be like, I got Kevin Hunter's baby. Who the fuck is that? Shut up.
Mind your business. Mo, or no, we say Mo. You guys say Joe. You're acting Joe right now.
Like a woman with a newborn. Shut the fuck up. Why did you throw that baby over? I told
Let's
you that
speed
happened
off.
to me when I was
Ooh.
pregnant, right?
No.
Nobody knocked me over, but I was heavily pregnant coming from my prenatal appointment with my baby Ted. This is right after George Floyd died. Very bad time for us to be out.
Right.
So, I got my hot dog. I'm very happy. We're walking away from the stand, about to go back home, and this black guy in a wheelchair rolls on up to us. He was like, "Black lives matter. What did you do?" Then he rolled away. I was like, "We're gonna get hurt if we stay longer."
Fuck. Oh my god.
He rolled up real close to my bump too. I was like, I got a hot dog in my hand.
That's all I got. Oh my god, I had like the opposite, the side of the same coin of that experience. I was like, this was back in 2021, I think. I was wearing a mask going into a Starbucks, and this white guy comes out, "Why are you wearing a mask?" I'm like, why are you speaking to me? He's like, oh, you just believe whatever they're telling you. I'm like, bitch, say something. Say one more thing. And he was like, oh, I just wanted my frappuccino. Why are you in my face? Same coin, opposite sides.
It's just like I really wish that I could pick. I pick fight in the flight or fight responses in Philly when I'm my absolute last option because the fight option always involves a gun and
Same here with the rednecks. They're always packing, but it's like you came up to me and I was entering the Starbucks. He was coming out to ask me what I'm wearing. Bitch, why do you care? Like I was heated. I didn't have my coffee. I was a mad. Like,
you know what's the best thing to do though when you're a
oh
woman that
man.
I learned to do from white women though? Burst into tears.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
like I like any time somebody like upsets me now, I either scream at the top of my lungs or just burst into hysterical tears. They don't know what to do. They're like, oh my god. I first learned to do it with my baby dad. Like he upset me one day. I just burst in like bawling, fell to the floor. And I'm like, you know that there's like a chemical in women's tears that just like drives your testosterone to zero? He was like, yeah, I felt very emasculated. I didn't know what to do.
Die, bitch. Do that.
Yeah, he was like, I was considering just throwing myself off the deck. I felt
Damn.
terrible.
Wish my, you know what? Never mind. Let me not go there. So, back to the mistress. So, she gave birth to Journey in 2019, and so Wendy actually knew about Sharina Hudson and tolerated her. And Wendy had a little pattern of hiring private investigators to follow Kevin and Sharina around. So she definitely knew of her, and she allegedly like stalked this woman at her home. Like Wendy shows up at her home and is just like stalking her. So Hunter literally, or I'm sorry, Kevin Hunter literally banished Wendy from her own home. So for her to go be at a sober living facility, because she had some issues, and I think he exploited that to take advantage of like the moment. But so when Wendy heard that the baby was born, she got so drunk that she had to be taken to the emergency room. And that's sad. I mean, she really felt like she loved this man. She was like, okay, you're cheating on me, whatever. But once the baby was born, that's makes it real for her, and she just got obliterated. So she fired him as executive producer of the Wendy Williams show, which she already should have done, but whatever. Um, you would think, though, that that would be the final straw, but Wendy's no quitter. So so they had a 15-year affair with each other. Um, Sharina and Kevin did. So it started when Sharina was barely 21 and Kevin was in his 30s, which it's not really an affair because he was basically like a Splenda daddy. It's like not quite a sugar daddy, but like he's a proxy sugar daddy. Like, so he was spending like Wendy's money on her because, you know, he was a fucking party promoter with a sketchy sounding hair salon. He wasn't balling. So he was taking Wendy's money and spending it on her so she could have a house, a car, and basically anything she wanted with Wendy's money. And you know Charlemagne the God, he hosts a Breakfast Club. He's fucking evil. He sucks. So he actually introduced Kevin and Sharina to each other at the club, which I'm like, all of this is just Charlemagne's evil and he hates Wendy. So I'm like, he probably like he had his like secret crystal ball of evil and he's like looking at the future like, oh yes, this is gonna ruin her life. So that's what he did. So Sharina was actually working at the club as a bottle girl. And then she had like a fake Insta career. You know how like your favorite influencers are all like sugar babies and like hookers because, you know, they're all traveling, going to the Dubai, but they're not making bank like that off of Instagram, like selling tummy tea. They're not really making the big bucks off of that. They have sugar daddies. So anyway, she was basically saying she had this fake Insta career to hide all the money that she was getting under the table from Kevin, which was Wendy's money. So Wendy was like throwing shade at her about that. Like, you're just living off of my money, honey. So she talked, my money, honey. And so Sharina came up with another kind of Insta baddie type career. That doesn't involve the word like tech or wearing a bright magenta blazer from Zara, like the fake Insta baddie real estate career. So she was like, you know what? I'm going to do you one better. She was making a non-FDA approved food and whipped shea butter. And I don't even know how well that went. We have no idea. We just know that she was living off of Wendy's money. And kind of like in our last episode, you know, the IRS open up its IRS. We want our money. Like, they want to know where you fucking live. Because all these Instagram people, it's not just even the girlies, the guys are doing it now too. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I'm making all this money, but it's really my sugar daddy, but you're not reporting it to the feds. So anyway, Wendy said she hopes Kevin, after getting fired, just keeps at least one job and keeps his daughter off the pole like her mother and gets a better education than her father. And yeah, like Wendy, I mean, if you know anything about Wendy Williams now, she's suffering from what's it called? I forget what the condition is called, but
Frontal
it's like
temporal
fucks with your,
dementia, right?
yeah, and Graves' disease also. And so,
Mm-hmm.
but like when she was lucid, like she was a viper, like keep her off the pole like her mother, get a better education than her father. She was a viper when she was lucid, but
Yeah, so like we said about the IRS and other people that you owe money to, they're gonna want it and they're gonna get it out your ass eventually. So, this chapter is called Broke People Should Never Laugh.
they should
Now
never
hold on.
laugh.
So, when they divorced in 2019, Wendy had to pay Kevin $250,000 monthly in alimony.
She got $250,000 a month in alimony. It's like that. I mean, that's like so unheard of almost. I mean, even like when you think about child support, for example, and all these episodes we've done, we've talked about child support. That's money to support a young little person that doesn't have any career prospects or anything. They're a baby. And I don't even think we've covered anybody who's had to pay that much just in child support. This is an alimony. So the intention of alimony is like if your former spouse gave up their career to support yours, which again, he didn't do that. He was allegedly her agent and executive producer, but she must have the worst fucking lawyer in the world to have to pay $250,000 a month in alimony. Like, unheard of. And they had a kid together. But anyway, I'm sorry, go on.
And the kid that was going to college, I don't know what type of judge that was, but I think that judge was just like brain dead too. I don't know what judge rules on that case, but that's why I'm
He
always
probably hated
like,
Wendy.
that's the thing. That's why I'm like, I'm always nervous when dealing with family court, and I'm always nervous. Like, I always validate people's nervousness when they want to deal with family court, because you can get a judge that's a dumbass or a judge that has a prejudice, and you can't point it out to them, or you'll be in contempt of court, but you know they don't like you for whatever reason. Maybe you remind them of their ex-wife. At a first judge,
Yeah, or you're just black.
That was like that. Yeah, at a first judge, I was like, he did not like my ass.
That's sad. And there's just not a lot of oversight with, like, in the judge's court. I mean, the court is their kingdom. What they say fucking goes. So if he says $250,000 a month, like, you can challenge it, but it's gonna cost you even more in legal fees and everything trying to fight it. It's not even worth it. So,
like, I was so scared because my lawyer, like, he knew the judge personally, like, he knew everything about him. Before he went in, he like gripped me really hard on the shoulder. He was like, "You should be afraid, because the judge had his kids taken away by his wife, so he's really bitter when it comes to women getting full custody." I was like, "What?
Oh my god.
What?"
Can we roll the
like,
dice
"Yeah,
and
so
get any fucking judge?
So I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, so he's very, very bitter about women getting full custody. I'm going to escalate this if he doesn't let you, though." But anyway, he actually got, I think, fired or something. That judge got fired, and I got a woman on my case, and she was like, "Yeah, this dude fucking sucks. He's not getting full custody." There you go. Anyway.
Oh, man.
All right, where are we? So those payments have stopped since February 2022.
The payments from Wendy to Kevin.
I'm bribing her with Laffy Taffy, so she'll leave me alone. Here. Bye. Don't step on that, you'll fall. If you stay out of here, I'll give you a caramel at the end. Okay. We have a barter system. Okay. So those payments, like her alimony payments to Kevin, have stopped since February 2022. So Kevin tried to sue Wendy again to get the alimony flowing because he had nothing to pay his car insurance, and he took nothing to pay his car insurance, his credit card bills, and to support his sugar baby and his actual baby. And the judge was like, "No, I'm not fucking, no. Like, why didn't you save the money that she gave you? That was, how much was that? A month? In 4
It's
months, we got $1 million, basically. Why are you back here?"
Broke bitch.
Yeah, he was like, "Just pissed." So, in reverse, Kevin is now being sued by everybody on Earth. Number one, he is being sued by almost all of his credit card companies. Number one is UBD Bank. They want their money now, Kevin, and you owe them $20,000, and they want that plus attorney fees, and that's a double thing. He owes them that on January the 23rd and March the 1st of that year, and it just keeps stacking up.
Damn. I mean, for them to have to take you to court and get a judgment against you to be able to get granted. So that means that he owed them this for a long time. That means he never showed up to court, or even if he did, they just were like, fuck you, pay us. Like, I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, thing is, like, I have credit cards. I have one credit card that has a $30,000 limit on it. There's nothing that crosses my mind that's like, you know what? I'm gonna run it up 30K. Like, what? You don't have the cash. You can't pay that off. Don't spend that much. And he was getting $250,000 a month. And that went on for some time. And he just never saved it. Like, so how are you broke? I mean, his sugar baby's gonna
He
leave him. That's
blew
what's
it
gonna happen.
all off, dude. So
That's sad.
his HOA now is suing him for not paying his $600 monthly association fee for the phone he shared with Serena that he bought for her in 2019. So that's $600 every month from 2019. He just didn't pay anything.
They have
And he
no
was getting the
financial
alimony.
literacy because if you're living together in a different home, rent that home out. Pay your fucking HOA fees. Like my HOA fee, because I live in a townhome, is only like $65 a month, you know. But if you live in a condo, they're more because there's more maintenance that they do. But it's like they don't fuck around. Like this, the HOA is like the IRS. They want their nuts.
And if you ever dealt with an HOA, you know that they are some very nasty people by
It's a
default.
Girl, it's a
They're
lot of people that have a
nasty.
lot of time on their hands and they have one goal, which is to get your ass in line. Like where I live it's called a historic district because it's just been around since like, yeah, the Civil War days. And so it's a huge Civil War battleground actually. And so you have to maintain your home a certain way. Like you have to have like certain type of fixtures. You can't, do certain things. And I mean, I'm okay with that. I love my neighborhood. It's not ghetto. Like I bought it. It was nice. But it's like they maintain your shit, so you pay them that thing per month. And so if you're in a condo, they're doing things like maintenance, keeping the hallways and everything looking nice, like the parking lots and stuff. So if you're not paying them, you're just taking all that stuff for granted for free. And you need to get the fuck out. So
From
that's
like
not something to play with.
New York City coming down to live in an HOA in Florida. So Bob and Karen are at the bottom of the block, just hands folded, shaking their head every month. God
Dialing
damn it.
the HOA. them Negroes not paying them.
I told them to cut that grass 2 days ago.
Get your black ass out of here.
I thought they were used to that. Going on. So his summons was served and he ignored it. It was titled to him. He was like, whatever, I'm gonna answer that. Wrong. A second one was sent because they saw Sharina coming in and out that house that read, this is to the unknown spouse of Kevin L. Hunter. Basically,
Damn.
like, that was
They
so
sunned
bad.
her. They sunned her so bad. Not unknown. Were they even married at that point? I don't think so, because then he wouldn't be getting alimony.
No, they were calling him out. They're like, you got this hoe coming in and out this house. Why is she acting like a wife? That's not allowed. This is
That's a classy way. That's a classy way to call someone out their name. Unknown spouse. Like, God, that's worse than bitch.
That's the thing. When you get a strongly worded letter, you gotta read it between the lines. I love writing strongly worded letters. Because you'll read it you'll read the same sentence 3 times and be like, oh my God, what did she just call? So now, I wrote my baby dad one. He was like, it made me cry, but he was like, but it was really well written. You should probably write. I was like,
You know
okay.
what? Kudos to you.
Yeah, he was like,
That's
yeah,
why you
really
write our
great.
show now.
I should actually ask him about that. I'm like, remember that letter I wrote to you that was 3 pages long about how much I hated you? He was like, yeah, it was very detailed. It had really good vocabulary in it. I was actually kind of surprised. I was like, oh, thanks.
I didn't
Anyway,
even use a thesaurus.
no, just the hatred just fueled and unlocked parts of my brain. I
Oh
was
my god,
calling him
cheeks
Clear
hurt.
Dog.
Oh my god.
Like, not
That's
even like curse words, just like
it's like
ancient.
colonial insults.
Stamped it with wax.
I'm weeping right now. That's some pirate ass insults. Crying.
It's like, what?
God. Oh man, I'm not gonna make it. I'm sorry. Let's go on. I gotta get myself together.
I
Oh
was like,
man.
I pity the woman who stamped you out from the bottom, and I was in there with nothing but a
Oh
ballpoint
shit.
pen and a highlighter going ham. But anyway, don't piss me off. You oversee
Highlighter.
one of them. Please don't. So anyway,
Oh,
that
man.
lakefront home is now being sold for $1.5 million because they can't pay shit. They
Oh,
can't.
they're selling it. Okay, so it didn't get foreclosed upon.
They're selling it. They told them to get out.
That's the best
So
move.
Kevin also had to sell 2 of his luxury vehicles, but he didn't sell them the traditional way, like normal rich people do. Like actual rich people, people with financial literacy, or a normal person would. He
Party
sold his vehicles.
promoters.
Yeah, he sold his, get this, to Flex Wealth Inc.
The fuck is that? Is that like a ghetto Carvana?
It's a company that allows you to take loans out against luxury items like shoes, jewelry, or cars up to $10 million.
I'm
Isn't that
sorry.
the ghettoest
So,
shit
for
you ever heard
example,
in your life?
I've never heard of this in my life. So, for example, like I have a Louis Vuitton purse. It's worth like $5,000, and so I could say it's basically like pawning almost. Like I could say, "Hey, I need a $5,000 loan. I'll pay you back," and the purse is like collateral, basically, right? Like,
Yeah, it could be
is
collateral
that
if
how?
you can pay it back. If not, it's sold. And that brings me to our next
Damn.
sentence. The worth of the cars were not even close to that amount. It was like 200,000, and they're not in his name anymore. One of the cars sold only had 500 miles on it.
Oh my god. I mean, he's just taking L after L. Like, have you ever had a win in your life, Kevin? Like, oh my god.
We're not even halfway done. So, Sharina's seeing all this, and she's a gold digger. And I love that about a woman. So she's like,
I stan
yup,
her.
I'm breaking up with you. And she takes the baby and leaves.
What a journey.
And apparently that vegan cooking thing is actually working pretty well for her. She's got like fans, and she just jumped ship
Good
on
for
her little
her.
vegan pancakes.
And you
And
know
they
what?
served as like,
She owes that to Wendy because Wendy like pushed her by taunting her, saying like, you're just living off my money.
Wendy called her
Oh man.
a Dubai potty. Basically, she's like, I will not. Okay, so we're speeding up now to within the past 6 months when Angela White, aka Black China before she got saved by the blood of Jesus, she visited Wendy in her home while she's like fully addled with dementia. Like she has no idea where she is, what's going on, what time period it is. But like Angela's like trying to regain her memory. Like, you remember me? She's like, barely.
And she had
Sorry, I
the
didn't mean to
sweetest
laugh.
look on her face, and she's like, barely.
She's like, barely. You look familiar though, so you can sit here. She didn't curse her out, which is a good thing because people when they get dementia, they're like, oh, they're sweet and old. They don't know what's going on. No, they get mean. They get mean. They'll throw things at you. But yeah. She visited Wendy and she asked her about Kevin. China asked Wendy about Kevin. And Wendy only remembered one thing about Kevin. She said, "Oh yeah, I had a husband, Kevin. He's broke. He's got no money."
I remember that.
She just
That's all
stares
she
off
could
into
remember.
space. Yeah, she just stared off into space for like 10 minutes. Like, okay, Wendy, time to put you to bed. Because that was just such an upsetting memory. Can you imagine your brain is being degraded at like the molecular level, and the only thing that you can remember is that, oh my God, he was broke. He was
That's so
broke.
sad. Yo, pause for 1 second. I just looked at Sharina Hudson's Instagram, and she has one of those Insta prostitute Instagrams where it's like, oh yeah, here's my website, here's my booking info. But if you click on the links, it's like one's just a Cash App, one's a 404, like it doesn't go anywhere. One says it's like her vegan nose business, plant-based food business, but you click on it, it's just pictures of her posing with food. There's no food that you can actually buy. Like,
I'm so sorry about the music. I was about to look it up myself, and Beyonce came on. Came on. It was a gif of her as a cowgirl.
Aww.
So Sharina,
No, there's. I'm
what's
sorry.
wrong?
There is one thing on there. It's vegan pancakes for $9.99. That if you buy them now, they'll ship out on July 3rd. Like, this is not real business. Get the fuck out of here. And it says sold out. So she literally, there's nothing. There's no sales, nothing. Like, she is
We
a
know
sugar
what
baby.
pancakes she's selling. We know what pancakes she's selling.
them ass cakes.
Why is it called vegan nose? That's a really disgusting name for a pancake business.
Sounds like somebody who started a business who had no marketing background, nobody in her corner to be like,
ew.
Yeah.
Do you see her food? Why
I
is everything
do. I do see
beige?
it. Oh God.
Look at all
this
the
is
pancakes.
vegan.
Who eats this much pancakes to be ordering it for $9.99?
It's got like this gold dust on it. It looks ashy. Why are your pancakes ashy? Look at the tacos, or look like fucking chalupas, but they're like vegan, made with like mushrooms. Oh God,
That
that looks
French toast.
disgusting.
First of all, why do you need a recipe for vegan pancakes? Isn't there like pancake mix that's already vegan? You don't need to add eggs.
Yes.
I vividly remember reading the ingredients. You don't need eggs in pancakes.
She has no team behind her because somebody would have told her. But again, this is just a fake thing that these influencers do. This is not real business. It's all close-ups of food pictures that like she probably took from like AI or Google or something. Like, you're not making this. You don't do nothing.
Her
There's a
dry
picture of her in the
bread.
grocery store holding some fruit. There's a picture of her in lingerie leaning on her counter. Like, you're not a chef unless
Oh my God.
selling pussy counts as being a chef. Like, that's
Pretty.
I mean, listen, you get creative with when you're selling pussy. You could say like, oh, I'm a connoisseur of pleasure. Like, she's a pussy chef.
I just want to know who's. Oh, ew, she's got something called man cake, dripping with edible. But gold is already vegan. It's a mineral.
Now you tell me man cake is not an advertisement for some sexual services at Headhunter in the salon.
That's disgusting. Hold on, we gotta scroll over into this. Okay, why is there butter?
Look at the one of her pouring like vegan syrup. It's vegan butter.
Okay, she's.
Oh, I like
this
her
is
hair
a bad
in this one.
one.
She has like knee-length locks.
Knee-length locks?
Yeah, like faux locks, but they're like to her knee. I like that. I think I'm gonna copy that. That's cute, actually.
This woman doesn't eat anything like this. She's got candied almonds on top of pancakes. You know how hard that would be to chew?
They don't even look real. Like look at the blackberries they're next to. That look like the kind of fake food that you do for food photography. Like, that's not real.
I'm gonna show this to my grandmother and say this is real Southern cooking. She should get the times. She's gonna hit me really hard.
Oh man, what a tangent. I'm so sorry, guys. So
No, it just shows that we really do check this stuff out. We're not just copy pasting.
Right, like, I didn't get a chance to look, but I'm looking, I'm like, "This is not a real food website. This is bullshit. You can't even buy it." It all says sold out, and one of the websites 404. So, but I'm sorry. So they sold the car. She dumped the man because he was too broke, and then she sued him.
Dude, did you see the? Yeah, she sued him. She's like, I want my money back, which was the money that you owed me for companionship you didn't pay for. It was a very vague lawsuit. Let's say that.
You know what? But I'm wishing her luck. Like, sue the pants off him. It's what he deserves.
Okay, on another tangent, I checked out her what is it? What is this bullshit? Her athleisure wear line. Now, her brand is called Vish, right?
Fish.
Yeah, Vish.
Like
I don't
Vish. Okay.
Vish, right? So she has people trying to promote it, right? But it's mirrored pictures. So at first glance, it looks like it says HIVs. Look at it.
Oh my god. Oh no. See, again, no marketing team behind you. Oh, that's bad. Like, once again, I have a business degree. I took marketing classes. Like, somebody should have tested. Somebody should have tested that. Oh, Sharina.
That's the first thing that you do in branding is like, how is this going to look forwards, backwards, sideways, and blown up? Is it going to make a penis?
Right.
Is it a bad
Is
acronym?
it going to be a racial insult? Like,
yeah, like, is it going to be I'll say the N-word?
Is it going to look like an STD like yours, Sharina?
It's just like, ma'am, what does your cert says? Vish! It's like, I'm looking at it from this side and it looks like you have been diagnosed with HIV. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm tagging her in this episode. Anyway, so I have a question.
Yeah.
She has some explaining to do. But what do you think Wendy Williams, the queen of radio, saw in fucking Kevin Headhunter? I just got that, by the way.
Honestly, she didn't see anything in Kevin Hunter. What she didn't see was what she didn't see in herself, and that's what led her to him. That's what led me to my baby dad. Until I looked in the mirror one day, and then I looked at him and I was like, oh, that doesn't match. Because remember, every time I would post a picture of us together in the group chat, I'm like, yeah, that's my baby dad. Everybody was like, that don't look right. That don't match up.
Doesn't go together.
It's like peanut butter and tuna. But yeah, if Wendy actually saw her worth as a person, I don't think she'd be somebody like Kevin. She deserved so much better. She could have got better.
Agree.
Even
She could have
though,
just
she
been
wasn't
single.
conventionally pretty. No, even though she wasn't conventionally pretty, she's very attractive.
Yeah, she has.
You could be
She's
funny
like
looking
me.
attractive.
She's like me. Like, I have presence, you know, and it's like she has a lot of presence that I feel like it's kind of supersedes looks. Not to say that I'm not also physically attractive.
You are physically attractive. I was going to be like, Bree, be for real.
Let me back up. Let me back up. Yes, I am physically attractive, but besides that, I also have a lot of like character and presence that makes people like, you know, be like, oh, okay, like I can hang out with her. That's how Wendy is. People wanted to be around her. Even people who didn't like her still had to respect her because she just had that presence. So if she had known that about herself, she would have never been with somebody like that.
You know what I could have seen her as before she met Kevin? I could see her as like an eccentric wife of like a billionaire or something.
Yeah.
Somebody that just really like spoiled her and just let her do whatever. Like, yeah, that's my weirdo, but I love her. Like,
yeah,
can't
like
you get a
Serena
load of this chick?
Williams and Alexis
Yeah.
Ohanian. They could have been just like them too. Like, they're so goofy online, so cute. She could have been just like
that.
Serena Williams.
That's the thing too that I want to tell people. Like, don't try to change yourself into like a certain type of standard looking for somebody, because eventually the real you will come out. Just find somebody that just likes you for you. I don't hide who I am.
Yeah.
The outside don't match the inside. Because once they see me and start talking to me, they're like, ooh, this one's off.
That's one thing we
Not
have in
what I
common.
ordered.
And that's why like dating
I
sites never worked for me because it's like people see the pictures and like ooh she's sexy. And then I'm like, do you want to learn about Thomas Jefferson? I'm like, ooh no.
just like I just got my test back. I am finished.
I
Men
love that
come up to me
video.
on like men
I'm
come
now
up to me on the
licensed.
street. Aisha, how you doing? Not well. My stomach hurt. Can I have $5? They're like, ooh.
Ooh,
But I do find men that
staying
go like,
single.
oh, sure, let's go get sushi. Like,
Ooh,
so great. Who would
love
you
that.
rather be, Wendy or Sharina?
Well, I mean, damn. I mean, okay, so they're like two opposites, right? Because Wendy, she has a storied career, but she's, dealing with dementia and Graves' disease. Sharina, no career, and is obviously just slinging that vegan pussy. So, shit, I guess. I mean, at least Sharina, you know what? She probably has like a future ahead of her. So, I guess I would have to. God, I guess I'd have to be Sharina.
I think Sharina, I think she's smarter than what people give to her because she stayed
Mm,
15 years in this game. I think she has some offshore accounts because she's still like nobody hears about her struggling. She's not on the street. She doesn't have
that's
no
true. I
OnlyFans yet.
checked Twitter. Right. I checked Twitter to see if she had one because that's where like a lot of messy people try to get attention. And she wasn't on there. So I'm like, you know what? She's staying out of the way. I mean, she has to be like around my age right now, right? And you see me being messy on Twitter. So she has to be like, staying out of the way, minding her own business. And that means like she's probably cooking up something, something vegan over there.
She's cooking up more
Good for
vegan
her.
pancakes for another dumbass who wants to have an affair with her.
With
That type of
money.
person will always have clientele. Let's be serious.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, we guess we would both rather be Sharina. And let's talk about that lawsuit. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are I would not have wanted to be on the Wendy Williams set. Not only because Wendy probably would have like made me cry, but Kevin definitely would have hurt me viciously.
Yeah. I mean, I would either have gotten like horribly fired and scarred by that, or like just started swinging. As we talked about fight or flight, my instinct is just start wailing, and then I'd be in jail for assault. So yeah, I feel really bad
Yeah.
for all their victims.
In my early 20s, like I said, I'm not built together right. You would be like, well, how's your new job going, D? You would open the door and it's me holding like a plate with 2 drinks and I'm in a really tight bikini. I'm like, great, call the police,
Help
please.
me! I'm blinking twice. I'm in trouble.
Legs shake. What
Oh
could
man.
Wendy have done to turn this around? And when do you think was her point of no return?
Honestly, this is gonna sound fucked up, but it's like the moment that she laid eyes on Kevin Hunter and decided to take him seriously, it was a done deal. Like he saw her as a come up, and that's all he saw her as. He never loved her. And she was just always trying to earn his love and affection, and she never got it because it's Kevin Hunter. So that that was the point of no return for her.
Honestly, I'm almost with you there, but I would classify Kevin as a coke boyfriend, where you're just hanging out with him for 3 months just to score coke, then you get clean and you never see him again.
You know what?
If you know, you
I'm
know.
not gonna yeah, you know. Yeah, but ultimately I feel like her story is just a cautionary tale, right? Like I mean, know your worth, know your value to
Don't do
society, to
that.
yourself. Yeah, don't do that. Don't have
Don't
a
settle
3-month
down with
Coke
the coke
boyfriend.
boy.
Right. Just
Don't
go
have
to
it.
the
Don't let it go
parties.
on. Yeah.
Go to the parties, do your drugs, and move on. Like, you got to change dealers like every couple months as they started trying to like push up on you. Like, you want somebody who's all business. That's my advice to the young listeners. You're trying to
I'm
score
so glad.
drugs.
I'm so glad all of mine just mysteriously either went missing or they're like, oh, he went to jail. I'm like, oh, I kind of was starting to like him.
Oh my god, I used to briefly talk to this drug dealer who he was like, "Man, last time I was in Florida, like my car got shot up and like these people are looking for me. But yeah, I'm going to Florida next weekend, so I'll hit you up when I get back." I'm like, "Wait, what?" Never.
Mine was hilarious. I showed you that article, like the one,
That was so fucking funny, dude.
and nobody believed me. There, I was like, yeah, he's gone, because like he would be like, hey, do you want to help me out with this shipment? I'm like, I guess so. What is it? I ain't telling you that. I'm like, okay. He's like, just ride around with me real quick. I'm like, all right. Then one day he's just like, wanna ride around with me real quick? I'm like, no, I'm tired. And I'm sad. I'm like, damn, did he die? His legal name. We hung out too much. I was bored.
And then 5
was
years
like,
later, hey.
I got out. They couldn't keep me in. I'm like, I'm glad you're all right.
Oh man. So what happened to Kevin? Like, where is he?
He's in the limbo that we all say that beachmen are. He's on a box in Venice Beach.
With a cup, shaking it like, I used to be married to Wendy Williams. Sure you were.
They're like, sure you are, bud. Anyway, there's soft white underbelly over there. You want to have an interview with him?
Oh goddamn. He's on Skid Row. Oh, actually, I just clicked on his Instagram, and you know what? I'm not even sure if this is him. No, that can't be him. It says he's directing movies, but no, that's got to be a different guy. The guy looks too healthy and young. Oh man. So yeah, nobody knows where he is, dead or alive. Who cares?
I think his
Kevin
Instagram
Hudson.
is private.
You think it's what?
I think it's private because, like, I'm looking it up. Maybe this is just another like fat unk. I don't know. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please do. But Kevin Hudson, we fucking hate you. Like, you're a deadbeat baby daddy 2 times over. You've ruined all these women's lives by being worthless and shiftless. You are the definition of a broke ass nigga. Like, worst baby daddy.
We didn't rate him.
How would we? Yeah, how would we rate him?
The worst is a 1, and that's opening the door to your office with Kevin waiting there for you in shades and a do-rag. And the best is a 5, and that's Sharina throwing you a giant vegan pancake into Florida waters to get you, her, and Journey up out of there. You know them things float. Not supposed to.
I'm gonna say, fuck. I mean, he's not the worst, he's not the best. I'm gonna go with neutral. He is friends with Charlemagne the God, the most evil host of any like podcast radio show ever, who like set him up to ruin Wendy Williams' life. That's his rating, in my opinion. What do you think?
I'd say I'd give him a 2. Like, he was only as evil as Wendy let him because he was a broke joke. Like, if you didn't give him the power, he just would have been a guy menacing at the front of the subway.
Yeah.
He would have been the dude that would have wore, like, what did they wear? Like, Coogee in, like, 2024.
Coogee sweaters, yeah.
In the front
and
of a
Kangol
subway.
Hat.
Oh my god, that's a menacing unk. That's
And the
worst
FUBU sweatpants. The final boss of unks.
You got a bottle of Hurricane and a reason to beat you.
And a Crown Royal bag strapped to the sweatpants.
That type of unk doesn't even need a gun. He just has presence.
Oh, God. Just intimidates you with his fucking presence. So, yeah, that's Kevin Hudson. The Ballad of Kevin Hudson, probably in a cardboard box in Venice Beach somewhere. So, that's our episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to follow us on our TikTok so we can then grow our social media following to do our live episode. We want to interact with you guys. It'll be obviously totally anonymous. Like, you can ask us stuff and we'll talk about it on the show. And Dee, where can they follow us?
You can follow us at WHY Baby Daddy Pod on X. Please do not come for Brie. Like, stop it.
I'm African. Leave
Instagram.
me alone.
That's racist. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And stop bullying her, or I'll come for you.
She'll write you a strongly worded letter that'll make you want to stab yourself.
I'll search of Scientology. It's so personal letter. How did she get my address?
Just dox the fuck out of you. And so, if you love this show, leave us a review. Click the little 5 stars, boop, 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 on whatever platform that you're listening to us on. Actually, we recently reached 100 followers on our host platform, which is Spotify. So thank you guys for doing that. And in total, we have way more than 100, but, just on our host platform, that is awesome. So thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.